afternoon, everybody. Sorry about that. Good afternoon. We're going to be going over The Housewives of Potomac, Season 1, Episode 8. No, Chauncey. The title is All Shades of Shade, meaning we're going to be reviewing the show tonight. But they had a episode in here where they had a segment in here in this particular episode where Giselle was going to be formulating her own foundation line for women of color. And she had so many different tones. So that's where that shade comes in. And then, of course, the shade is, these women reading each other, as I like to call it, or getting them together from head to toe when they feel like they've been offended. So that's where we get the title, All Shades of Shade. So let's get on right into it. To me, it was kind of a boring uh, episode. So we're going to do what we can do with it. We first go, well, the scene is just taking place with everybody doing random stuff and all this. But when they get right down to the special pieces that they want to really detail, it goes with the scene with Giselle and her little, I guess she's a scientist, but her name is Natasha. She's helping Giselle with formulating her own line of cosmetics. And the first task of the cosmetic line she's going to be attacking is, or developing, I should say, is foundation for women of color. And of course, we as black individual, I like to call myself as a black person, which I don't know where they got that from, because black, it's like asphalt, and I'm definitely not near that color. But my ring is like black. But okay, I kind of got off subject. But anyway, we as black women or African American women, we come in several different shades of color, and I like to call myself like a cocoa type, dark cocoa type of coloring. At least that's why some kind of I look milk chocolatey sometimes. I'm like Dove chocolate. If anybody, whatever. My daughter laughing at me like, what? What are you talking about, Mama? Stay out of my business. Anyway, I kind of reminisce of my chocolate being like the Dove chocolate bar, something like that. But anyway, that's she was just meeting with Giselle in her office, and she's just going through the different formulas that they have to go through, and she wanted to know what type of ingredients that she want to use, where she's into the shea butters, or something similar to the bare essentials type formulation. And Giselle didn't really know what she was doing. She just know she wanted a foundation line, and she was just thinking about making some more revenue coming to her pocket. But she was really into the black woman when it comes to us not really having makeup that really actually matches our skin tone, since we do come into so many different levels of color with the skin tones of that nature, and not falling into one or two or three categories. So I think it was like maybe I want to say 6 or 7 shades she had. Wanting the scientists to develop for her. And, of course, they were tossing around names for it. And, Giselle wasn't being serious. And maybe she was. But, Natasha was like, honey, we need something that's going to sell and it's going to be professional. And people's going to want to buy it. They're not going to want to buy something that says Sweet Almond, you know. Or, something. It has to be true to form, and it has to be true to your product. They don't want to be picking up stuff. I mean, that's for something like lip gloss or something of that nature. But we're talking foundation. We need to get serious, because people do want to look good. They want to cover up their blemishes, their dark spots, stuff of that nature. So, whew, we know Giselle gonna need some help in that. Then the scene moves to Katie and Andrew. Somebody's having a birthday party first, or birthday. And at first I thought he was bringing balloons to Kate. And I'm like, why is he bringing her these baby type like balloons? But, as the scene took its form, it was one of the kids' birthdays. And, he just bought balloons and this, that, and the other. And the kids were actually sitting in a dining room or den. not dining room, living room or den, but I'm thinking it's a den part. And she was, talking with the kids, and he just comes in with all these balloons and, you know, saying happy birthday. But I ain't seen no cake. I ain't seen no frilly things, hats and streamers and blowhorns and stuff. Little that, curls up, blows out and then it curls back up. It makes a little quick awful noise, but party's a celebration. But I ain't seen none of that going on, so I was kind of confused. So, he comes in bringing the balloons, and Katie is pretty much, saying, "Oh, he's such a good person. He does this for me. He does that for me. He does this for me. He's this kind of person. Oh, I love him. He loves my kids. He loves me. But yet I don't have a ring." I don't even want to go through that. If y'all seen previous what do you call it? Episodes where I had did commentary on just her, and I'm just so over her, okay, and her antics. So we're just gonna move past what she had said in her confessionals about what she really needs from Andrew, because we know Andrew running things, and she better be glad her stuff wasn't sitting outside when she came back from Bethany. But anyway, they take it to the kitchen. She's going over everything with him about she's glad to be back at home and away from those women. But those women were your friends at one time, right? Until you couldn't get them to do something that you were trying to half-ass do. As far as a fundraising, once they said, "Nah, we ain't finna do that," this, that, and the other, if we do help you. Well, Karen was the only one that shut her down. But the rest of them were trying to tell her, how you're doing it. It's too late, da 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 da. We want your event to be well, but we can't partake into something, like this, because we're going to see how the end result is already going to be, writings on the wall. So, she just got all mad with them, fired everybody, and enlisted two other people. But I don't know if that's either here or there, because, they were just like, it was Sharice and Brene, Sharice's best friend, that she had enlisted to help her with it. And evidently she must know they ain't have no power. Or Sharice probably had a little power, but not enough to make her be in the range of producing $100,000. So needless to say, she went on and told Andrew that she had to cancel the event. They're gonna wait a few more months down the road and try to rehash it and revamp it and do something else. But we all him for it, cause he couldn't get his folks to do nothing either, probably because it's so last minute preparation, and he didn't want to put people out by trying to garner support for her foundation and trying to get big checks to come in, and she wasn't getting no hundreds. I mean, maybe 20 grand, maybe at that, because times are hard. And you have to already tell these folks you want this money up front so they can be doing fundraisers themselves to get that money for you. But look who we're dealing with. So basically, moving on from that part, she was just trying to have a pity party for herself, to have Andrew be on her side so they can both dog the women all together and together. But I wasn't here for it, so we're gonna move on. The scene goes to Karen and her assistant. They're at Karen's home, and she's talking with her assistant about putting together a little. Well, at the time, she was talking about something big and grand of her husband's mother passed, and she died of Alzheimer's last year, and she was 89, and this, that, and the other, and she wanted to do something special for them, or her and Ray wanted to do something special as in remembrance of his mother, and the other family members could come and gather and reminisce about what a good woman she was and how she contributed to society and their family and this, that, and the other. And the Karen was trying to take it on a grandiose type style of hosting a cocktail party. She wanted pray well, her assistant had said something about having an orchestra. I was like, girl, you need to go somewhere, honey. You need to go somewhere. But she wanted to have an orchestra. Then they were talking about praise dancers and having some type of professional artist or some new artist in the entertainment business to come out and perform and all this. It was going to be costing too much money, and God knows, I'm glad Ray came through, came sneaking through, shoe footing it through, whatever you want to call it, old man walking through. Um, trying to see what they were trying to conspire against him as far as financing. And he was like listening to everything, and Karen was giving her spiel on it. He was like, baby, no, 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 mm-mm. And he was just looking at them like they were crazy, and more so of her assistant, like she was crazy. Like, I'm not finna give you all this money to have all this mess. No, we need to scale it all the way down. And he's pretty much saying, how much the food gonna be, honey? That's why I was waiting for him to say. But Karen was like, oh well, honey, I didn't know if you wanted to be this, that, or then we don't have to have it. And he just bust her up on live TV, pretty much like, no, you spend too much as it is. We got kids in college. We paying for that pretty much out our pockets or my pocket, and it's just too much revenue being spent and not enough revenue coming in. So no, we ain't finna do that. We ain't finna do that. I mean, he wasn't saying that it was a bad idea. He just saying he wasn't finna pay for it. Now I don't know if he had the revenue, if the bank account getting low or not. I don't know. But I really didn't think he was gonna have it at his house, but they end up having an event at his house. So that was a lot of money. That's really scaling back. So basically, maybe the whole event from what it looked like. I don't know how expensive it is in their area where they live, but it seemed like they could have did that whole setup pretty much less than 3,000. And I'm just including the food as well as the champagne or alcohol, because that can be expensive within itself. Stop! Trying to get him out of here. But it was basically, no, no. When he said scale down, I mean, baby, you should have went on in the back and had a barbecue. Then they would have been okay with that, cause I know I was. I'm like, what is going on now? This is not the type of affair that seems like with Karen and all her etiquette schooling and all of this. I'm like, man, please, that race, y'all ain't finna spend all my money. No, ma'am. We gonna have to scale it all the way down, and that's pretty much it. So I was all there for it. He just got both of them straightened out, told off in a nice way, and that's where they went with it. Okay, so we go on to Giselle. She has a focus group of people that she has invited. They're coming out to her event that she has hosted at some type of, I don't know, it could have been a bar somewhere. It could have been an event hall of some sort. But anyway, she kind of had it in the back area. And excuse me, Ashley, well, she wasn't the first on the scene because Karen had already, not Karen, but Giselle had all her people there, the makeup people to assist with her guests as far as putting on the foundation and all of that. She had her tables put out and the cards on them and everything. Very professional. She had Kyle there, which is our makeup artist and hairstylist. He was there, helping them set up, and then the crew started coming through, you know, um, appropriately and on time. The first set of people that strolled on through was Sharice and Karen, and of course they called themselves apologizing to Cal, because they know they had went overboard and trying to act more than what was needed when they were over Sharice's house and she was having her little barbecue or cookout and all that nature. And they both were being, well, all three of them were being very adult about it. Kyle had said some things that wasn't necessarily good to have said to a woman of, Karen's stature as well as her age. But he was just going off raw emotions because they were throwing it at him, and they were being filming and carried on. So he's like, I'm giving me my 2 cents in too. So I don't look like I went out like no punk. So, and Sharice was giving him all these hugs and kisses and stuff. And when they did a clip going back, it's like Sharice was calling him everything but the child of God, honey, and lying on him and all this. And, them two were the ones that really should have been apologizing. And I can see Karen and, Kyle apologizing too, because, they were going a little bit at it, but Karen had really came after him. So, on the opinions of what Reese had said about Kyle and how he was acting. So I was glad to see that they had got that squared away and all put up and boxed up, and we would not have any of those antics coming out from either one of them again. At least I'm hoping for the rest of this season. And then pretty much everything gets started. The only person that didn't come through was Katie, because Katie had decided that she was fed up with all of them, and they didn't try to help her when she was trying to do her event, even though her event was on short notice. And Katie just don't know how to prepare, and she's immature, so it just went like that. Okay, Ashley did show up, and she was hopping around there and stuff, and she had apologized to Giselle about her accommodations that she had to go through that were not suitable for any human being. She apologized to Giselle about that. Giselle received her apology and acknowledged it and said, but she's going to do some work. She's going to have to apologize to the rest of the group too, because how she behaved at the very end of their trip on that last night they were spending together. We know Michael came down, calling himself, want to spend some time with his wife, and trying to, what do you call it? Trying to rank himself above everyone else when he knew it was just supposed to be a women's outing for that weekend. But he want to do what he want to do, and his wife, let him do it too. So that shows she's, her immaturity there, because in a sense she should have just made it known that, honey, where they could hear, uh, you're not supposed to be here. This is a woman's night, a woman's weekend. What are you doing here? Where are you gonna stay? Something to the fact that it felt like she was taking up for them, and that she had no control of her husband's actions, and so the women could deflect that from her and put it on her husband. And they weren't going too far with that um, mess. So that was what it was when that scene was playing through. But she did tell Giselle did tell Ashley, yeah, girl, you're gonna do a lot more making up, and it ain't her that you're gonna have to be bothered with. Is the matriarch. It's Karen. I don't know why you went off the way you did, but you know how she treat us, and we're in the clique, and we're in the clique, but now it's questionable. It's very questionable, and she's pretty much like this close from voiding your membership, and you just had it for such a short time. Anyway, it moves on to Kate and Andrew. They're out at a fashion show that happened to be hosting her as one of the main events being featured. And of course, she was all there for herself, of course. Getting off that Sonya, because, what more can you say? She still looked like a fool. And she's very spiteful. Scene moves on to Ashley and Karen. Karen's been there for a while. Ashley's been there for a while at the little focus group that Giselle is having to test out her makeup line, or her foundation line that she had scientist Natasha work on for, just to get their take on it. And everybody that showed up for the event, they were very pleased with the product. Even Karen had not referred, compared it to, was it MAC? No, Bare Essentials, and I never heard of the lady or the foundation that she must wear as a daily regiment. She, it was a higher, or it was a high praise that she had pretty much gave about the product. So that was good on Giselle making a splash into the world of cosmetics with her name on it. That she had got the grand stamp of approval from Karen. She said she would buy the product and wear it. So I'm like, okay, cool. It met her standard, and that's, I guess, all that counts in their world. Um, but it is supposed to be like hyperallergenic. It's supposed to be very good for the skin, and less irritation or anything of that nature. So seems to be a well-rounded product when it comes to environmental aspects, or people who may have allergies to certain ingredients in the cosmetics that they wear. So she's being very attuned to those needs of consumers. But then, they have a scene where they cutting up, but it was something that had to be done to kind of clear the air and for them to move on. Um, not Karen, Ashley tried to, throw an olive branch to Karen to try to help her understand the situation and try to mend their friendship so she could still be a part of the clique. Karen was trying to talk to her to let Ashley know how her action her actions toward the situation was just so immature. And she was talking about her maturity level, this, that, and the other, and it just all went south. So they started getting a little loud, but Giselle was just trying to give them that moment to hopefully for them to come to some type of disagreement or agreement, or just plain old agreeing to disagree and to table it. But of course, it didn't work out. They were just going tit for tat, tit for tat, tit for tat. So Giselle was like, okay, I'm to silence this, and we're going to have this type of discussion on another day in another venue and whatnot. So she goes over to the women and just, tell them this is her event. She gave them enough time to try to, ooh, excuse me, smooth over the issues and stuff, but don't seem like it's going to be smoothed over tonight. So they both need to table it. So Karen, took in her last jab at Ashley, and she agreed to not discuss it anymore, to let the men handle it. So she's going to set up a play date for all of them, pretty much. And they're going to meet on the golf course and discuss this issue again. But between her and Katie is discussing it, it's a mute point, and that it's not going to be discussed anymore. So the scene moves over to Juan and Robin. They're both putting up furniture in the I guess den area, and they're talking about the elephant in the room, which is the moving situation. How far has he solidified or stabilized a concrete decision on whether he's taken a position uh, or not, or what they're going to do about their lifestyle. And it really was a boring scene. Nothing really was discussed. And he just left her pretty much holding the bag on fixing the furniture because he had to go. I don't know where he had to go. Or maybe he just didn't really want to be on camera. But they had to get something on camera with him, with her. Maybe she didn't have nobody else to take with. I don't know. They could have left the scene out if you ask me. Scene moves on to Karen and Ray, Michael and Ashley. They're both at the golf course. And of course, Karen husband, I always look like he's shoe footing it. And when I say shoe footing, I'm like just moving your feet close together at the same time, trying to get to that next area of space. But oh Lord, he just act like a butler child. I'm telling you, he just look like a black butler that need to be retired and sit down somewhere. But anyway, they go on a golf court. They play a few holes of golf until they really gets down to the nitty gritty of why they're there. Karen goes into, that her husband handled Michael. So Ray goes into it, like, why did you have to come down there and put those women as well as my wife in a bad situation? I mean, it was the last night of their girls' trip or excursion, and why did you feel like you had to come in and mess up all that? And then Michael, threw his little jabs back to Ray, saying that's his house. He can do whatever he want to. Those are his emotions. He can go where he want to, and that's pretty much it. And then he was like, "Well, no." Ray was saying that's not right because your wife invited the women, so the women were under a certain set of guidelines and rules, and it wasn't up to you to pull the card of coming down there and surprising your wife and thinking it was okay, especially when the women are going to be probably dressed in or not so dressed in clothing, meaning they're going to be having on see-through materials and this, that, and the other. Man, he don't want none of his wife's goodies being showed to another man. That's just not right, and that's not how he rolled. And of course, Karen was in the background, and her background of a man saying, "Yes, tell him, Dad," and all this kind of shit. I'm like, girl, sit down somewhere, okay? This man got 2 feet in the grave, really, 2 feet, and you trying to help him establish your honor like it was really, damaged in some way. It was a hot mess, hot mess. But anyway, he was saying if Bray make this particular putt, he's gonna apologize again in the way that he really feels Ray is wanting him to apologize. But of course, when Ray had to putt, he missed it. He missed the child. And then Ashley's husband must be an avid golfer, and he usually sink his putts whenever he, you know, goes out playing golf. And towards the end of the session, he missed his putt too. But towards going into another scene, he was off camera, but you heard his voice uh, being recorded. He was saying, I missed that on purpose, right? Meaning the put. But he just wanted everything to clear up. Because even a man, that, I mean, you basically said that he disrespected you as a man because he was there watching your wife, had the opportunity to watch your wife in skimpy lingerie or outfits, and that offended you. And I don't think that's a conversation you basically could have had over the phone. We didn't have to see it being taped because it was just too much. I didn't care for it. So we're moving on to the next scene. It was Sharice and her kids. She's at the point of her life. I'm guessing she almost 50, Sean? I don't know what she said her age was, but anyway, she has this nice older man coming over. And I'm like, oh, are you trying to flirt with him? I kind of got a tease that she wanted to fool around, but her kids was on the back patio with her, and I guess she had already told them that she had an instructor coming over to show her how to swim. She's gonna learn how to face her fears and go and get that little exercise in to understanding the formats of swimming and try to get it where she knows how to swim. So she tries a few attempts, and let's suffice it to say she's gonna need a lot more attention. And I wouldn't be surprised if we do have a little bit more episodes. She may start a relationship with him. I mean, to me, they make a good couple. They very attractive individuals when they're coupled together. Or they showed us them, him assisting her in the pool, and the kids seem to enjoy him. But then again, they weren't checking for him to be trying to maybe date his mom either. He was just there for an instructor, so it was all good. Moving on for that one. We back at Karen and Emmy, her assistant's name, are going shopping for these cherry blossom flowers that she just absolutely loves, and I guess Ray's mother loved them too. And they goes to the floral shop, and he's basically Emmy is trying to pull a major boss move, saying she need these particular flowers for her boss, and she needs some XYZ in this time frame. And he's like, oh, that's nice. But those particular flowers don't grow all year round. They only grow in a certain season, and we're not in that season. Then Emmy gonna try to pull a boss move, like she done did her research and education on that particular flower and where it grows and when it grows. Well, you can just get them from another state or country, can't you? We'll pay for it. Like, when did you have a Black American Express card? Why are you talking for your boss when she's right there? She gonna be footing the bill. So she ain't gonna be footing the bill. Her husband gonna be footing the bill. He already told y'all to scale it all the way back, scale it down. So anyway, she's just making a complete fool of herself, and she brought me in the memory of Portia. She just pulled a thought moment. Because that man just like let her say what she had to say and shut her down again. Like, look, you can have fake ones, silk ones, but other than that, no ma'am. It's not gonna happen. I don't care how much money you have, it just doesn't happen. Okay. So she looked like a fool on film, and I was glad that they, went on off of her because she didn't know what the hell she was talking about. Did trying to be boss and don't even have her education on the flower or did her research. So just sit her ass down. She fire her. That's fired. But anyway, they go on to, of course, roses are year round. So even Karen had a thought moment, like, well, can we get roses? I'm like, yeah, you get roses, fool, every, excuse me for not calling her fool, but she's just acting out of pocket. But yes, you can buy roses all year round, pretty much, and they can color them for you. Whoop, whoop. Anyway, so she decided to get 89 roses in memory of her husband's mother that had passed. Like I said, that was a scene we can go on by. Okay. It shows us the gala itself being taped. The gala's at, or the cocktail party, I would like to say. It is. It's being held at Karen's house, and she has a big old mansion, so that was very price worthy because it's free. You don't have to worry about it. I don't think he had to be concerned about, and I'm saying he, meaning Ray, was the cost of the food and alcoholic beverages. And they only asked, they had really scaled it down because it really wasn't that many people in the house that you would see maybe at a particular event, even if it was being held somewhere else. So, and it was for Alzheimer's event party where they were trying to I don't know if they were starting their own charity in her honor. And this is gonna be like the first annual one, and they were just asking some donator slash friends to come out and hear about the organization they're trying to establish, and it being the first year, to donate to the cause, and it's gonna be something that gets bigger and better with each year coming, with them running the fundraiser for that cause, and everything is being, shown, the decorations, the people, everybody having a good time. They even have a little band there, jazz band. And, everybody has come through, have gotten there on time, partaked of some drinks, starting off maybe little appetizers, and then they got to the spiel of why they were there and how they wanted them to donate to the cause and this, that, and the other. And of course, fashionably late comes Michael and Ashley. And they're just ringing the doorbell, knocking on the door. And everybody's like, Karen, are you going to go get the door? Do you have a doorman or doorwoman? This, that, and the other. Just things going through people's minds and or actually expressing it on camera. And, Karen seems to be unfazed. uh Ray seems to be on phase. They just ain't planning on opening the door because they already had counted heads, and all the people that they wanted there are there. So yeah, they knew who wasn't there. They just out there just ringing the doorbell, ringing the doorbell, and until one of the band members had to go to the door and let them in. That was just so embarrassing. I was just so not here for Karen and Ray's antics on that part, because I'm like, come on, just because y'all didn't really get it together on the golf course and still haven't saw eye to eye, probably would never see eye to eye, because I could see both sides. And technically, I think Michael should have did the best thing and just told the ladies, look, I just wanted to come down here and see my wife. I don't care about none of y'all. I'm going in the room. I'm locking my door, and I won't come back out till probably after I know all y'all are going to bed, if I need to get something to eat or whatnot. But enjoy yourself, this, that, and the other, and go about your business. But, he wanted to sit there and have fun with the women. So, I could see them not wanting to be a part of that. But Sharice and Ashley and Katie and Robin end up that night when he came back to stay with them after the club and that they had did at the little gay bar down the street. They ended up staying up late and playing some type of frat house type of game that he was introducing to the women. If they missed the cup when they were trying to throw a little ball in one of the cups or paper ball that they had made, they would have to take a shot or whatever. So he was getting his tease on, watching the women get drunk and all this kind of stuff. But Ashley was there because she didn't want him to end up in somebody else's bed and, all this, that, and the other. But I can see the side that Giselle was talking about, as well as Carrie. I mean, they took their stance. They went on up and, tried to get as much rest as they could. But they knew they were leaving real early that next day. So I was there for them. But they pretty much hadn't forgot about the incident that happened on the golf course, and that Michael really wasn't hearing Ray and his concerns about what had transpired when the girls had took their excursion up to Bethany Island. So nothing really got resolved, but Ray had his point of reference saying what he had to say. Michael had his point of reference saying what he had to say, and it is what it was. But to come to a conclusion and ending with Potomac, like I said, it was pretty much boring. They were throwing shade here and there, but Ashley went on a little further once she got there into the party, and of course, um, Ray as well as Karen were throwing shades at both Michael and Ashley, and they kind of like split up and went and mingled with other guests. And Ashley had came over there and was telling the other girls that were there, which was Giselle, Cherise, and Cherise. Can't think of the other. And Robin. They were in their own little circle, you know, mingling with one another. And Ashley came around there talking about, well, Karen. had said she didn't want any of us to hang around her daughter Raven. And they were like, wait a minute, why? You know, Giselle, you know, in all her ways and antics, she was basically saying, well, why she wouldn't want to hang around me? I'm a nice person. I'm upstanding, this, that, and that. You know, so all of them was kind of having their own little feelings about what Ashley was saying. But going back, if you look at the clip, no, she didn't say any of her friends that she's been rolling with for a minute couldn't hang around her daughter or have some a long time if they felt that they needed to give her advice on this, that, and the other, because they have children around the same age as Karen and all this and that, and she respects their opinion and she knows them because she's been around them for a long time. She told Ashley she didn't want her daughter hanging around her in particular. She didn't say nothing about the other women. So towards the end of the cocktail party, you know, Karen was basically coming over there saying, you know, how y'all doing? This, that, and the other. Y'all enjoying yourselves. And so, you know, of course, Giselle was feeling some kind of way. And she just went on and told her friend, hey, what is this about? You saying I can't hang around Raven? And she's like, what are you talking about? And she said, well, Ashley was just informing us she had a conversation with you and you said this, that, and the other. And that, you know, you didn't want none of them around your daughter. And she said, no, 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 no. So she just quick, fast, and hurry got Ashley, you know, straightened out, read her real well, and said, no, honey, I said I didn't want Ashley. I said, in particular, Ashley, not was going to be around her daughter and giving her no type of instructions of how to act and this, that, and that. I thought I would fall out on the floor. And then she just went on and told Ashley she was done with her. They were done. There's no going back. So I was here for that. But that's pretty much it. You know, they both, all of them were, you know, dumbfounded looking at Ashley like, you know, she had started something and she had really stepped her foot in something like quicksand and she wasn't getting out and they were going to let her go on down. She was burning by herself, honey. And they was like distancing themselves from her and this, that, and the other. And Katie was in the crawl space looking like, I'm glad, it looked like something going down. I'm glad I ain't involved at least this time. And so it was pretty much, you know, pretty much all of that. And they, you know, towards the end, after Ashley and Michael had left, she went over to the women and saying, you know, she handled herself real well with that itch. And, you know, she tried to give her, you know, she was the only one when everybody else really wanted to kick her out of the group, but didn't even want to bring her in at all. Karen was the one that said, no, she's going to take her under her wing and teach her the proper way, proper etiquette of handling, you know, the creme of the creme of society in Potomac. But, you know, she felt like she was betrayed and she can't let it go. And she don't want her in their circle. And she's now look like she's on a rampage to make sure she doesn't belong in the circle. So, since the show is so new, I don't know. I'm sure they're coming up to their reunion real soon, but that's all I had for that show. And and so I hope y'all enjoy the review. Like, share, comment, and tell several friends about me and my channel. And I'll see y'all next review. Be blessed and stay well. Bye bye.